that you were bad for me.
Welcome back to the Backyard Basketball Podcast.
Liquid smoke.
It has been far too long, my friends, but we are back. We are back from south of the border. Kristian, welcome back. How you doing?
Good, man. It was a long trip. We've been gone for a while, but I've had a lot of time to think and ponder over what's happened these last few weeks, and I'm excited. I'm hyped. Basketball's right out around the corner. It starts next week. Let's do this, man.
Yeah, man. So without further ado, let's get going. Okay, so lots of NBA talk has been stirring around. The Ben Simmons fiasco just continues. It will ever continue. It will never end. Fans are all that much more riled up about him. But the guy we want to kind of focus in on right about now, and we're going to be taking lots of shots at this guy. The main reason is because he has decided not to take any shots.
Oh,
of course, we were talking about Kyrie Irving of the Brooklyn Nets.
Oh,
Kristian, where do we go from here?
Okay. First off, we got to talk about what's happened. All right. So news broke today. All right. It's been a few weeks since last we were on this podcast. It was a pretty quiet time. And then, it was just over a week ago, Media Day showed up. And of course, on a lot of journalists' minds, and they're asking questions. They get to talk to the players. The majority of the NBA is fully vaccinated. It's like something like, I don't know, close to a 95% efficacy rate. And that's really saying something when you look at what's happening right now, especially here on the Western Front in North America, other places around the world where that vaccination rate isn't nearly that number. Last week they were talking about these conversations because there's this loud, outspoken, it's a very small group, but it's an incredibly loud group, vocal minority with Kyrie Irving, Jonathan Isaac, Bradley Beal, I think are the three outstanding ones that I can think off the top of my head right now that are still unvaccinated. We had individuals like Wiggins, on Golden State Warriors, who was unvaccinated, but he decided to go and get the shot after all. And a few players that have kind of come late to the party, but they've decided to, do their thing. So this thing happens, a little over a week ago, and we have this media talk, and it just strikes up this kind of conversation that it felt like brought to the forefront in the NBA of this whole tricky vaccination balance before the season's going to start. And you see in the NFL, they started up like probably about a month ago now. And they started up the season. It kind of went, you didn't really hear so much about players, say, withholding wanting to take the vaccine. And more often than not in the NFL, you've got like 50 some guys that are on a team. So if there's a few, small individuals who aren't going to get the shot, you don't see the effect really on that team compared to like in the NBA when you've got such a smaller condensed group of individuals that play very important roles on their teams. Like, wouldn't you agree?
I would agree. I think the NBA is very specific in that. Yeah. That the impact of one player is a lot greater than in other sports, I would say.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So obviously, maybe you could have seen this from a mile away, because some of these individuals are expressing, a mile away a long time ago about their hesitancy of wanting to take the vaccine or just their complete denial of it altogether.
Well, Jonathan Isaac is not unfamiliar with standing on the opposite side of what a mass group of people are doing. If you remember back to the bubble, he was the only person to stand when all other players were linked in arms and kneeling in protest of the George Floyd murder.
That's right.
Now, like, again, I do want to stress that there's still like an importance to the freedom of choice and freedom of voice.
Yeah.
But there's also a responsibility that goes with the role that you're in as a professional athlete. That goes beyond just your self choices. It goes into, your responsibility as a role model. It goes into your responsibility of making sure, specifically with this, that other people don't get injured or unhealthy. And that's also part of the business part. Like these people are making mad money because of what they do. And so if they're putting themselves in a position that they're not able to do that, then you're also seeing the business part of it, really take a hit.
Totally. And, so this happens, right? We get a lot of talk about it. And then today, a couple days ago, and I found this was so funny. So we talked about Jonathan Isaac a little bit, Bradley Beal, at least from what I've looked at him, and where he is located right now in Washington, there aren't these rules in place. So he still can play home games, even though he's unvaccinated.
Okay. And that's the rule. It's state by state.
Yeah. State by state.
By country, really.
But you know what? Like, I don't know. When you look at American politics, I do feel that like a lot of states inevitably, like if one takes kind of a crucial role on something, that some of those neighboring states or other states throughout the country start to conform in some respect. Maybe not fully, but in some respect, there seems to be this consensus that happens across the board. And this is just kind of my belief that this may be one of them that we start to see maybe over the course of the season. Some of these other cities taking a precedent of a vaccine mandate. And then, of course, when that comes to a head, there'll be these implications for, say, an individual like Bradley Beal.
Well, it's not just for the players, right? So, yes, it's important that we get the players healthy. But if we're now inviting fans back into the crowd and saying that they have to show proof of vaccination, well, those people are in the building. So they've all agreed to this. And if there's players that are playing that aren't vaccinated, that's a problem. Then now you're putting the fans at I mean, it's not the same kind of risk, but there is a standard, right?
Totally. And finally, all of this kind of comes ahead to, I think, who's the, one in the front, leading the pack, Kyrie Irving.
He's just like a shit disturber. And I feel like he knows it. Like he's after it.
For sure, man. He totally is. Okay. Kyrie today,
he beats to his own drum.
He beats to his own drum. He says, he's not going to get vaccinated. He gets really stubborn about it. And in Brooklyn, they're like, you know what? You cannot play. The New York law is you cannot play in his situation if he's unvaccinated. He can't even step into the building of Barclays to practice.
So they whine a bit and they were like, well, shit, how do we make this work? So then they come up with some sort of cheeky way of having a practice facility that counts as like a private home so that Kyrie can be there.
A private business, yeah.
And then like a day after, they're like, yeah, no, Kyrie's going to have to get the vaccine or else he's not going to be able to be a part of this team.
And that comes to today. And when Kyrie was speaking, like during the media sesh, and he was, at that time when they were asking him all these questions, he kept saying, just respect my privacy. It's my own personal trainer. Just respect my privacy. What really gets me about the reasons that they give, like Kyrie, you always hear about this issue of personal choice and privacy. And like in the big picture, man, I have a lot of sympathy, for personal choice and privacy for these guys. Like I want to have privacy in their lives. And I'm here for the argument that our athletes deserve more privacy than they're given.
Sure.
But I find it ironic to think with regard to athletes in this respect, because, like these guys, we know their birthdays. We know how tall they are. We know their injury history, or like, there'll be profiles about their relationship with their mother. We know when they get sick or when they have an injury or a surgery. And we know the doctor.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
What were you going to say?
I was going to say, we know when their dads decide to drop a brand new shoe that's $600 to $800 US and looks like a knockoff Adidas shoe you can get at a Zeller's.
Well, what did there was something written on the side of the flame of that one shoe? I can't remember.
Yeah, like I'm cool or something.
Yeah, or told you so.
It told you. I told you so.
Yeah,
that's
told
exactly
you so.
What it is. Yeah. Told me what? What did you tell me? You were gonna come out with a shoe, and you're like the day after your son LaMelo Ball signs a deal and brings out a new shoe with Puma. Come on.
Yeah, man.
And it's a lifestyle line.
Yeah. Well, they could make it in the basketball world, so with the shoes.
Ball,
so maybe they can make it with a
LeVar Ball, if you're out there
shoe.
and you're listening to this, if you want an opportunity to really explain yourself and explain what you're up to, drop us a line.
Would love that.
Yeah,
Yes, please.
I would love to talk to you.
Do we have an email? We should get an email.
Yes.
Set up.
ORs? Yeah, okay. We'll get you one. Email here, LeVar@gmail.com.
That's what we'll call it.
Yeah.
So LeVar, because we would love that.
All right.
So we know these private details, right? And none of those details have anything to do with the contagion. Like it's impossible to catch, say, like a meniscus tear from a friend, or to like have indoor transmission of ACL springs.
Yeah.
So I feel like people like Kyrie in particular is drawing that line of privacy. It's like at the very place where our individual's decisions stop being fully private and start being these like very dramatic public consequences. And it's like, yet you hear over and over again, it's a private decision. Like I would really like somebody, I hope KD has done this. I hope like, Steve Nash or somebody in private, maybe even Sean Marks, say to these people, say to Kyrie Irving, like it may feel private to you, but it doesn't feel private to say your family. It doesn't feel private to your trainers who's immunocompromised. It doesn't feel private to say your coach who has a son who has asthma. And it's the nature of pandemics to unprivatize our personal decisions and connect us in this web of contagion.
So who's to say they're not having those conversations, that group of people?
I'm sure behind the scenes they have been. And I'm sure behind the scenes, I watched like a Stephen A. Smith little session earlier today on First Take.
Because you had nothing else to do, or?
Well, hey, I appreciate his candor.
Okay, his world,
his unbridled, view.
Stephen A's, who used to be Max Kellerman, and all the other ESPN members.
Okay, I do feel very bad for Max. I'm a huge Max fan.
All right.
He was saying that he knows people.
Okay.
All right, he's hearing it from the inside that they would give up
his world.
They would give up Kyrie Irving for a box of cookies right now if they could.
Okay, well, sure.
Didn't
Boston say that, and didn't Cleveland say that as well?
Don't even get me started about
That's
Boston,
what happened, though, right?
Don't even get me started about Boston.
Both of those situations did not end well for the team. The team said, fuck this guy. Get him out of here. He's a distraction and he's selfish. Yeah, he's a good basketball player, and that's why people like him. But then there's the other side of him, which is like, you beat your own drum, and that's really cool, dude. But there's still the role model aspect to your job that I just go, you're out of whack. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what Kyrie is really thinking.
You know what Kyrie's thinking about? Kyrie's thinking about Kyrie, man.
Yeah.
He's thinking about Kyrie. That's what he thinks about. You're in a team sport, and you've got like millions of people around you who have taken the vaccine, and like whatever like conspiracy theory that Kyrie Irving wants to come up with, like, all right, good luck with that, man. But the bottom line is it's like, it means you're looking at everybody who's taken that vaccine, and you've decided not to take it, and that's your personal choice.
Okay, but like, so that you're susceptible to it. Like, who in their right mind is ever like, yeah, you know what, I really would like to be at risk for contracting some sort of really nasty virus that kills people? Like, before any of this happened, who was thinking that? People had common colds and flus, and they were getting vaccinated on the regular because they didn't want to make it worse. It doesn't make any sense to me, dude.
I know. Well, I think for Kyrie's sake, like whatever his personal reasons are, and
religion was one of them, because that was what Andrew Wiggins was contesting, was that there was a religious, or he wanted to use a religious clause or
exception.
That's right.
Yeah, an exception, so he cannot take it.
Yeah. So,
listen, the one thing I will say about Kyrie, because I don't want to just turn this into a session where all of us are thinking, because I'm incredibly obviously frustrated with this guy. I have been since the time in Boston. I feel like he says something and then does another thing. It's not genuine. And that was like what really irked me about, how he departed and how he gave up on the team. But, Kyrie, I think, his heart is in the right place. And like, things that he's done, like through philanthropy. I'm totally butchered that. Philanthropy, charity, his donations, his time, his just, bringing to light certain perspectives and cultures. Like I'm all for that. And I'm not like excoriating anything in regard to that side of him. But like in terms, of on the flip side, like the stubbornness that he has is like elevated, I feel like, to such a level of glaring selfishness. And I'm really happy that Brooklyn at the end of the day put their foot down, put their line in the sand, saying, we're not going to put up with this anymore. If you're not going to get vaccinated, and we're only going to supposedly play you 50% of the time, but even some cases it would be less than, depending what city you went to, you're just not going to play.
Yeah.
And I like, you can't tell me, man, that the next obvious step that we're going to see in the news is Kyrie Irving retiring from basketball.
And that's what you think is going to happen? I
think so.
Kyrie's going to retire, or Kyrie's going to get a shot?
He's going to retire from basketball for, say, like maybe a year, 2 years. I think he will maybe cut. I could see him coming back into the NBA, and I think he could come into the NBA just fine. He's that talented of a player. Like, I'll give him that. The guy is insanely gifted, worked incredibly hard, super skilled at what he does.
This guy can't even get a job for the Harlem Globetrotters if he retires from the NBA.
Oh, he could. Maybe he'll do that.
No, he can't. No, you know why? Because
the
same New York state laws are in Texas.
Whoops,
man.
Well, I don't know. Maybe he could do it in Texas, somewhere south.
Yeah, he can just do
I'm
the
not
road
saying
shows.
anything, to if anybody's listening from Texas or down there. I love Texas. I just drove through that whole southern countryside.
Kyrie.
It was beautiful. But yeah, Kyrie Irving, man. So cheers to Kyrie Irving.
Cheers to Kyrie. Success. Cheers to Kyrie's impending retirement.
And I don't know, maybe spending some time away just from it all. And
do you see this season happening with? I mean, I like what the Nets did there with just saying, it's not like when he'll play. It's like, you can't be a part of this until you can be a part of the team. It's not about playing, you being able to play basketball. It's about this team, and you're not the best player on your team, Kyrie. So we're all right.
Yeah.
We got KD, we got James Harden, we got Joe Harris. So,
well, what'll be interesting here too. I don't think it happened yet, but so they signed Kevin Durant to an extension. The next plan in the list is they were going to sign Kyrie Irving to an extension. I don't know if that's happened yet.
Yeah,
and then the goal was, the third step is we're going to take care of James Harden. And I know James Harden recently expressed that he wouldn't mind, testing what free agency is like. Not saying that was his intention, but like if it ended up being the case, he's never had that experience before. So he's like, yeah, that'd be kind of cool. But if you're Brooklyn, you sign James Harden right now to an extension. That's what you do.
Yeah.
You have James Harden, you have Kevin Durant. You probably you'll be frisky. And then I don't know if you free up, what does that situation look like? If Kyrie retires, their cap space,
they'd have a bunch of money.
I have no idea how that works.
No idea. The Ordinary Podcasting Network is excited to announce that we have launched a merch store on our website. The store is full of ordinary swag, including t-shirts, hoodies, and hats. You can pick out something awesome and support your favorite podcast today by heading over to ordinarypodcasts.com.
In other news, J.R. Smith put his foot in a beehive today.
Oh, yeah. What? A beehive?
Yeah.
Where? What? On the
golf
golf course?
Out on the golf course.
What do you mean? He stepped on one?
He stepped on a beehive. I don't know if it was underground.
What?
It was
beehives are underground now?
Yeah, like a wasp's nest.
Is this because of COVID? Now beehives are in the ground, or?
Well, beehives are in the ground.
What are you talking
about? I've seen a beehive in the ground before.
What?
It happens. Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah, around our house, they're bad, man.
I've only seen them, sitting up on, on the roofs and the ceilings and shit like that. Okay, okay. So J.R. Smith is now battling bees and
competing
playing super well. Yeah, he's playing really well in golf. That's awesome.
That's such a
It's funny when you look over to see his partner or whoever he's teeing off with. It's like this 18-year-old kid. And then there's J.R. Smith, who's retired veteran of the NBA. He's like towering over him too.
Was he playing for North Carolina?
Is that what school he's enlisted in?
Yeah, some school. It's not a Tar Heels, but
I hope he makes the show. I hope he makes the tour, the PGA Tour. That'd be awesome. That would be
such a sweet story. I'd be rooting for JR all the way.
True sport athlete. Yeah. But it was like before and after retirement. Yeah, it's really sweet.
Yeah, man.
Well, kudos for J.R. Smith. If J.R. Smith was back in the NBA, what team would he be on?
Brooklyn could use him.
Maybe Brooklyn will ask him to play now. Right about now, yeah.
Yeah, honestly, do you get some more shooting?
That's funny. Maybe Dallas. Dallas just lost JJ Redick. Also retired.
That's right. Oh yeah, actually, that'd be kind of cool.
And what a career JJ Redick had.
Oh yeah, Talk about him for a moment, dude. Talk about a consistent go to work every day, do my routine, and just be like one of the craziest killers off a screen in the modern NBA, man. Like, just
he's so smart. Like, he's such a smart basketball player. He knows how to find, seamless transitions, holes in the defense, gets his shot up. He's so quick in his release too. He was a special player. I hope he's not soon forgotten. The people who watched him in this generation, they'll definitely remember him and know his name, but he does seem like one of the guys that might fade. And I hope his legacy lives on past his retirement here. He's
got a podcast. Do you know that?
I did know that. Yeah. He's got a great podcast. That's what I mean. He's really smart. He talks about basketball in another way. It's great.
Absolutely.
He's able to articulate it really well.
Yeah. Like Kobe,
Mm-hmm.
that really intelligent, way of looking at it. Al Horford tested positive for COVID-19 today.
Excuse me, the Ardbeg's getting me. And also Al Horford, he's been hanging around Jaylen Brown, who also tested positive.
Yeah, there you go. So that's probably where it came from. Man, we're not going to be off to a great start here next week.
Hopefully, because both of those guys are vaccinated, they'll be on a quick recovery path.
Oh, for sure. I believe they both are.
So it won't be too long. You see them back on the court. But Al Horford, do you think? Quickly on that, is he a shell of himself? is he rejuvenated? Is he in a situation now back in Boston? He's comfortable here. He knows what he can do, and he's kind of, he's leading the way for Time Lord to fill in, or what's going on? What's going to happen with Al Horford?
All that last stuff you said, absolutely, like that's what's going to happen. He
playing for Boston.
Yeah, he's going to play for Boston. He's nowhere near what he was when he left, nor will he get back to that. I think that's past his prime. But I was really scared because he was absolutely horrendous. I guess it was Philly first and then Oklahoma.
Well, he was told to be really horrendous in Oklahoma so that they could get the picks that they need. For the master plan that Sam Presti has.
I don't know what he was thinking going to Philly though. That just never made any sense to me when he decided to do that.
What do you mean he decided? You think was a free agent move?
Yeah, it was free agent move. He signed there.
I don't know. It looked shiny. Ben Simmons looked shiny to him.
I guess, but what did they do? They all just stand in a line in the paint, all three of them.
Yeah, they just pass the ball.
You can never play three of them together.
Well, hold on. You can't play Joel, Al Horford, and Ben Simmons?
Or I guess maybe you could.
That's the three you were talking about?
But the way they were playing it in his time there just didn't make any sense.
He's just a bit slower than he once was.
That's right.
He can stretch the floor though, which is nice. Just on that though, if you want to see three guys in the paint and dominating, this Cleveland Cavaliers team with Evan Mobley and Jared Allen as a tandem, the Twin Towers, like they're unreal because they're so agile, they're so fast. I don't know who their third. I guess you just Sexton or Garland or anybody around them. But the two of them I watched in pick and roll plays. Like those two in pick and roll plays.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, dude,
Come
it's
on.
insane.
Just
I
two
love it.
giant trees passing the ball back and forth.
I know. So later this week, we'll be doing a little over unders pod, go through each team and kind of see where Vegas has them, and we'll make our picks. But Cleveland, I'm telling you right now, because I'm gonna say you gotta have some teams in mind. You gotta think about this as your locks. Those are gonna be your locks for the season. And Cleveland's one for me, man. I'm telling you right now. I think that team is gonna overperform what they expect, them to. And that's such a fun team to watch, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Such a fun team to watch.
Oh yeah. So
Terrence,
the shiny Ben Simmons.
Yeah, Ben, I guess you better
let's get there. Let's get to
so
Ben Simmons. He's finally finished his vacation. He's seeing the calendar start to move and realizing that he just wants to play basketball. And it's either a few things. It's either Ben Simmons saying, "Hey, man, Rich Paul, I really want to play basketball," or it's Rich Paul saying, "Hey, Ben Simmons, I really want to get paid. So you're going to need to show up so that you get paid, so that I can get paid."
Well, I'm definitely going to say to no to that one, because Rich Paul's dating Adele right now. So he's fucking set, dude.
What do you mean he's busy? He's busy?
That guy's got, he's okay.
Know. Okay.
He'll be all right.
So either way, Ben Simmons has now touched down in Philadelphia. I saw videos the other day of I think it was the Eagles game, and just massive chants of "fuck Ben Simmons" erupted. So nice. I'm really, really excited to see how the first home game goes with Ben Simmons back. And
he's going to hate it.
We haven't even really heard from him that he's back. We've just kind of heard that he's around. He's gotten a COVID test. Their first game, I think, is either tomorrow or the next day. He will not be available for that first game. But after that, what are your predictions? What's going to happen here with Ben Simmons?
He's got three options. That he's got three choices. These are his choices. This is what he gets to pick what he wants to do. Okay, choice number one. He plays his ass off and he shows everybody what he can do, what he's made of. This whole Ben Simmons Embiid combination really come to fruition, see its full potential for what it is.
Yeah.
Right. And they have a killer season. The fans, he wins them over eventually. It's going to take it'll be a long winter for Ben Simmons in Philadelphia. But if he weathers the storm, he'll come around. If he plays that way, right? So that's option number one. That's the choice you can make. Option number two, he comes in, he plays his ass off to elevate his trade potential, right? So he's still like, I want the fuck out of Philly. I'm doing you guys a service. I'm going to give him my hardest, but this is my full intention. And say Rich Paul and I have come to some sort of agreement with the Philadelphia, say, front office that if I do this, they're going to work really hard to trade me. Okay. So that's option two he could take. Option three, he pulls a James Harden. He pulls a James Harden, and they're like, everyone's pretty much just like, F this guy.
Do you mean he shows up and he's overweight and he's...
Well, I don't think he'll be overweight. He's still he's younger than James Harden. He can't let himself go as fast as James Harden can let himself go.
Okay.
So I wonder what that guy eats. I really want to know, like, his guilty food. Because
it's just crumbs in his beard.
It changed quick. But Ben Simmons is just like checked out, and he's given up passes to empty baskets all the time. And Embiid's trying to pick a fight with them, and fans are throwing beer cans or beer cups at him. It'll be really ugly. It'll be a Malice in the Palace, but it'll pretty much be the whole arena against Ben Simmons.
Or is that the second option?
That's the third option.
Oh, that was the third. Okay, so here's a question.
All right.
Does Ben Simmons have a higher shooting percentage than he did last year? And just for a reminder, it was 580.
Yeah, it'll be higher. And you know why it'll be higher? Because he's going to take more shots.
Yeah,
he may miss a lot more shots, but he's going to take more shots.
You know what his career average for shooting is?
Do
you think it's over or under that number I just gave you? The 1920 580.
580. I'm going to say it's over, but just slightly, like maybe 60.
It's under.
Okay, get up. What is it?
His career shooting is 560. So this guy has to be better.
I wonder if there's some stat of how many shots he's like taken in
free throws last year. I can't find that exact stat. I know for last year, his free throws, I think they said he was like I think it was under 500 and he shot like 74 free throws.
That is insane. 74 free throws?
Yeah, which is not a lot, it doesn't seem. Like, I wouldn't think that that's all that much. He's got to get to the line more too.
Yeah, these stats just, man. Well,
because
you know what?
Good. Like, he's a quality defender. He's probably one of the better defenders.
He's one, dude. He's just like, you're not giving enough credit. He's probably one of the top 5 defenders.
And the
really,
reason
when he
I'm
wants
not
to
giving
play,
him credit is because he hasn't shown it in other facets. So what I'm trying to say is, if he can turn that part of his game around, he will get the respect that he is after.
On the offensive end,
on all of it, he will, like he's a first overall pick. He's got the capabilities and the trajectory for it. He's just got to follow through on it now. So I hope he put the work in. His Instagram has said that he has, but who knows? Those could be videos from years ago.
Yeah, he's just hitting his pocket. Do you really think he's a number 1 overall player? Like, his actual
draft? Just him in general, like any year.
Yeah, just hit. Yeah, in any, like, when you compare it to like other number 1s.
No,
like,
I wouldn't think so.
What would he be? An overall number?
Oh, a top 10. He'd be a lottery pick.
Okay,
I think he'd be a lottery.
You say
pick.
top 10?
Yeah. Like what? Kawhi was 12th, 13th.
Yeah. But if we were to do this again, Kawhi would be number 1, right?
Well, naturally now, yeah, but not in that draft. Kawhi wouldn't have been number 1 in that draft. It would have been Steph, wouldn't it?
Were they in the same? I can't remember if they're in the same draft.
Let's see here. Yeah. Well, Giannis would have. Kyrie went first that year.
Yeah, that'd be Giannis over Kyrie, hands down. Wait, they get one the same year?
Oh, wait, no, that was 2 years later. Giannis went in 2013 and where's Kawhi here? Oh, 2011. Yeah, that was the same year as Kyrie.
Yeah, Kawhi's way better. Way better. Way better. Are you kidding me?
In that draft, Jimmer Fredette.
Oh, well, there you go, man. My guy. The third splash bro.
But that year was really bad, and Kawhi went 15th. So Kyrie went first, and then sequentially after that, it was Derek Williams, Enes Kanter, Tristan Thompson, Jonas Valanciunas, Jan Vesely, Bismack Biyombo, Brandon Knight, then Kemba Walker, Jimmer Fredette, Klay Thompson, and then Burks, both Morris brothers, and then Kawhi Leonard and Nikolai Vucevic. Like everybody went. Jimmy Butler went 30th.
Robbed in the night.
Isaiah Thomas went 60th.
San Antonio just snuck into that draft while everyone was asleep and just took like the biggest present under the tree before everyone woke up. Crazy, man. Yeah, it's crazy.
Crazy. But quickly there on the topic of Isaiah Thomas, is this guy ever going to show up in the league again? Because I am all for IT.
Dude, I saw him recently on TV.
And what, he was a news reporter now or what?
He was in I think we were watching, it was like a Law and Order or something like that.
He's acting?
Yeah, he was like some it was some that's right, it was Law and Order, and it was a story about a daughter that's been missing since she was like 5 or 6, and it's a family, and they're in Cleveland, and this girl shows up. She's like 15 now or whatever. And she says that she's the daughter of this family. And so they get reunited. And so for the whole reuniting ceremony in front of the house of the family, there's like, the mayor or whoever, and there's freaking Isaiah Thomas talking on the mic in front of a crowd of people. And then he holds up this jersey that like it's not to any team. It's just this jersey. And he like gives it to the daughter.
Is he supposed to be a player, or was he acting okay. He like was a cameo of a
player for the city or whatever.
Okay. I thought you meant like he was the dad or whatever in this new. Oh my God. Can you imagine?
That'd be hilarious.
I'd be like all for it, though. Isaiah Thomas deserves a spot in the league. When you look at some of the bench players that are sitting on half of these teams, Isaiah Thomas is not getting any respect. He's better than that. He's so much better than that.
How old is Isaiah Thomas?
Well, if he was drafted 2011, probably mid to late 30s.
He's 32.
Oh God. So that meant he was in the draft a few years then too. Well, he's small, man. He's the Muggsy Bogues syndrome.
2021, he signed a 10-day contract with the Pelicans. In 3 games, he averaged 7.7 points. I mean, this is like he is small. I love Isaiah Thomas. I love him. He's great. He's a great player. He's just I feel like he lost his speed, man. Like he's not as fast. And that's what that crazy bad hip surgery. After that, he never seemed to really be like quite what he was in Boston. I know there was a lot of factors.
Or is that not his daughter, but his sister died right around the same time, and then
it was rough, man. It was rough, and I really felt for him, man. Like it was just all of it was so painful, and he gave so much, and
he was an all-star that year.
Yeah, man, and I love him, but I don't know in the NBA. Like I hope so. I hope he gets a chance.
So he just tried out for Golden State. He didn't make the roster. Who was the other guy that made that roster? Because they had Monte Ellis. Oh, you know who it was? Avery Bradley.
Oh yeah. Good. He gives you something on the defensive end. So
I guess so.
I mean, you get a strong perimeter defense presence. Be able to swap them out, interchangeable.
Mm-hmm.
I could see on Golden State where maybe IT wouldn't have been as
helpful.
Yeah, that's the thing. You got to find a team where they can see the value in what he has to offer. It's tricky, man. I mean, maybe some point in the season something will happen. Again, maybe he'll jump on the Brooklyn bandwagon. There's a vacancy and a lot of money opening up.
The Brooklyn bandwagon.
So,
got anything else you want to talk about?
One last thing. Dwayne Wade's son, I saw in the news, is going to join a G League team, man.
Zaire Wade has signed a G League contract to play for his daddy's team, the Utah Jazz. Everybody's like, what? Remember, Dwayne Wade bought or invested in shares for the Utah Jazz, so he's now one of their main guys. Stakeholders, signed to their G League team. I don't even know the name of this team, but I think they're in Salt Lake City as well. Congrats there. I guess he was gonna go to college this year, and that's now an option for players. So it'll be interesting to see him there starting to play around some other professionals, and getting paid to do it isn't half bad.
It's the Salt Lake City Stars. That's the name of the team.
Okay.
Yeah, man. It's cool. Again, it's just another different route than having to go the college route and see how he develops his game. I don't know. Like when I saw that, then all of a sudden my attention drew to Bronny.
Yeah.
I mean,
you think he'll play for UCLA?
I think that would be and he may still do that. I mean, it's just the history of that school.
His dad never played.
That's right. His dad didn't, but if it's an amazing opportunity, and I'm sure maybe LeBron now is, talking with his son being like, this is an incredible opportunity. And it might be something that not only, you could work really hard on the basketball front, but you could go in there and work really hard during the year you're there, get education, always come back to it later to finish it up.
Bronny's going to go play on Mars or whatever. They're going to set up a league in space. That's what the whole Space Jam. That's going to be the new sequel, or the third one, the trilogy. It'll be Bronny and his college days in space. He'll be playing for the Monstars.
Yeah, playing for them and go stuff the Earthlings.
Are they the same age? Are they going to be drafted the same year?
I don't know. They might be a year apart.
That'll be fun.
I don't really know.
That's going to be super fun to see the next generation of of kids in the league. You're seeing it more and more in the MLB these days. There's so many juniors playing in the show. So it'll be cool to see that happening in the NBA. Yeah, man. Nice to be back.
So good to be back, dude. Yeah, we are. Yeah, later this week. I'm super stoked. We're gonna have go through every team and see what we think.
We'll do an over/under. We'll get our predictions, and we'll tee everything up for the NBA to start later this week. Until then, thank you everybody for listening. This is the Backyard Basketball Podcast. Bye.
Later.